Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back for another video. In today's video, we're going to take a look at a bunch of things with cryptocurrencies. And so if you like this content, smash up that like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment in the comment section, all for the algorithm. But as always, well, I shouldn't say as always, as what should happen normally, I suppose. Let's start with Bitcoin. So Bitcoin's 2023 rally gathers steam as cryptocurrency tops $23,000. All right. Bitcoin continued its climb Monday as traders took news of another crypto bankruptcy in their stride and placed bets on a Federal Reserve pivot to cutting interest rates. The price of the number one token rose. The number one token rose to above $23,100 Monday after briefly touching the $23,000 Saturday for the first time since August 19th. According to Coinmetrics, the jump brings Bitcoin up almost 39% since the start of January. It has been an up-only start to January. I know we have some sideways days, but I mean, like, if you are in on crypto right now, if you're in on Bitcoin, you couldn't ask for a better start to January, to the new year. Now, of course, we are moving very aggressively, and so we are moving aggressively above key moving averages, above the bull market support band. And so if we continue at this pace, it will be unsustainable, and we will eventually go back below the bull market support band, which is the 21-week EMA and the 20-week SMA. But as of right now, we are flying high, and we'll see. You know, it seems like every Friday, things continue to move more aggressively higher, at least the last two Fridays. And so I did want to touch on this, that Bitcoin continued its climb Monday as traders took news of another crypto bankruptcy in their stride and placed bets on a Federal Reserve pivot to cutting interest rates. And so a couple of things here that I'm looking at, the CME Fed Watch tool. You can see that as of the time that I'm making this video, we are 8 days away from the next FOMC meeting where they will decide. They will very, very likely decide to raise rates by 25 basis points. If you remember, last time they raised rates by 50 basis points. The time before that, they raised rates by 75 basis points. And several times before that, they raised rates by 75 basis points. And so they got very aggressive with their rate increases. We're looking at a 99.9% chance that they are going to raise by 25 basis points and a 0.1% chance that they would raise by 0. And so we're going to see a 25 basis point increase. But the question that a lot of people are asking right now is what's going to happen at the following Fed meeting? Will there be a 25 basis point increase, or will we start flatlining? My guess, well, let me just say this. I would be shocked to see the federal funds rate at above 475 to 500. So that would mean that we could see another 25 basis point increase at the next Fed meeting. But I would think after that we will at the very least begin to flatline. I think we're going to flatline for a while, for several meetings before the Fed starts lowering rates. But be very careful once they start lowering rates. They usually lower rates when they look on the horizon and see that danger is coming and then a full-blown recession. But anyway, looking at that, not surprising stuff there. The DXY, I have not shown the DXY chart, the US dollar index on this chart for a while, but we are continuing our descent, or dare I say free fall. We peaked at levels not seen in over 20 years in September of 2022, and we have been declining ever since then. Around this time, November 10th, November 9th, I made a video on my TikTok channel saying that I had turned to bullish. Before then, I was bearish. I don't think I would say I was crabbish. I was just bearish. Around that time, November 10th, is when I turned bullish because I saw a firm move before the US dollar below the US dollar index's 20-week SMA and 21-week EMA, which if you were to watch this run in the DXY, you would see several bounces right off of its own bull market support band. It was really fascinating to see. As soon as we saw that clear move below, I was like, okay, I'm bullish. And that was right around the time that Bitcoin bottomed at $15,600. We have continued our descent down, which makes me more and more convinced that $15,600 at this time or around this time was the bottom for the price of Bitcoin, aside from a black swan event or some major market crash, which I could see happening. So maybe a quick flash crash there. But otherwise, I believe that that was the true bottom for the cycle. We are continuing to see the DXY move down. It is still, if you factor out this range right here, a DXY, a dollar index at 102 is still extraordinarily high if you compare to the last 20 years. And so we have a lot more room to go down. But I expect a lot more to the downside, which would mean that cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin in general would continue to move up. And so we will see about that. I am a little bit concerned about how aggressively Bitcoin has moved up at the beginning of this year. I've already talked about that. But I'm not going to say up only season, but it looks like the general direction is up from here. Now, Ethereum's Buterin, this stuck out to me, proposes stealth addresses, aka turning Ethereum more into a Monero type cryptocurrency to enhance privacy protections. In a new blog, Ethereum co-founder Vitalik Buterin outlines a stealth address system that can help overcome the blockchain's lack of privacy protections. Now, there are a couple things that I want to point out with this. If you were to read the article, you'd find essentially what they're saying is, hey, Vitalik Buterin outlines stealth address system that can help overcome the blockchain's lack of privacy protections. Now, there are a couple things with this when it comes to regulations, which would open the floodgates towards major institutions being ready to get in on cryptocurrencies without the fear of the SEC, of the Department of the Treasury cracking down on them for buying cryptocurrencies. Regulations are needed, but at the same time, it's kind of a double-edged sword here. If you want privacy, then the regulations are going to be much harsher. But somebody makes a point at the end of this article that I really wanted to point out. Warstater emphasized the need. Somebody who read Buterin's blog, this person emphasized the need for the stealth address system for the expansion of everyday crypto use. This is needed, and this person makes a great point. In particular, think of donations or simply payroll checks, highlighting that users may not want others to see their personal transactions on a public blockchain. I mean, you think about this. I mean, I have nothing to hide. I'll be open about, let's just say everything that you did was on the blockchain. Every transaction, you went to Walmart, you went to Starbucks, every transaction was on the blockchain, which I could see happening one day. Do you want that transaction history public? Personally, I am okay with that, but I know that like with things like Facebook and with Google, people really value their privacy. They value their privacy more than I do. I personally believe I have nothing to hide, but I'm not the one going to strip clubs and things like that. I've never been to a strip club, don't plan on ever going to one. And so somebody going to a strip club or something like that on the blockchain, that may not be something you'd be too excited about doing. And I understand that. But more examples here. For example, when I buy coffee at the supermarket, I might not want the supermarket to know my employer, how much I earned, and what I spend it on. Warstater added, stealth addresses are yet another quite straightforward tool to increase the overall privacy of the network. So again, double-edged sword. We need, if we're going to have, I'll just say it like this, if we're going to have widespread crypto adoption, we need more privacy. But when it comes to regulation, I've talked about this a ton of times. I'll say it again. The Moneros of the world, the pirate chains, the Zcash, those are going to have a really hard time, and they're going to get cracked down on pretty big. And so what are we going to do here? This is just a hurdle that I think we're going to have to overcome at some point. And we are still very early in blockchain adoption and technology. It is a hurdle we will overcome, but this is something I'm pondering. What does this look like? Because regulation is coming whether you like it or not. I saw some congressman or senator say something about, how he just wanted the outright ban of cryptocurrencies. And it's like, come on, you're a dinosaur. You're a dinosaur, man. It's like, all right, you want the United States to just completely lose when it comes to innovation, when it comes to progress in the future and technology of the future. Yeah, go ahead and ban cryptocurrencies. But if you want the United States to be a major player, to continue to be a major player in the world market, then you're going to have to find a way to make it work. I'm sorry, man. But outright ban, that's nonsense. But hey, we're speaking about Ethereum now. So here's something that really, really, really piqued my interest here. Because it is who's going to be the big player. We're always talking about the flippening, right? Is the flippening going to happen next cycle, next euphoria phase, whenever that may be? And my response is, yeah, it might, but perhaps Ethereum should be worried about it being flipped by someone else. And I wouldn't say that this was a threat last cycle, but there was a point where I was wondering with Binance, with the rise of Binance, if Binance was going to flip Ethereum. And it didn't happen, but hey, I wondered, and I still wonder. And here we go. Uniswap Poll shows 80%. That is not an insignificant number. 80% support decentralized crypto exchanges move to BNB chain. More than 20 million Uni were staked by community members to cast their votes. A, quote, temperature check to gauge support in the Uniswap community for a possible move of the decentralized exchange's V3 protocol to the BNB chain saw 80% of Uni token holders vote in favor. Whew. Voting on the proposal, which was floated by Ox Plasma Labs, ended Sunday night with about 20 million tokens cast in favor of the move. Our proposal to deploy Uniswap V3 on BNB chain has passed the temperature check with 20 million votes yes and 6,495 Uni voters, the biggest number for the whole Uniswap governance history, Plasma tweeted. 80% in favor. Now, you got to understand that's not 80% of the people. That's 80% of the Uni that's staked, that's held. So it could be, if one person had all 80% of that 80%, then that's 80%. But that's not how it worked. 6,495 Uni people voted. So what's the significance of this? Well, what's the appeal with going to BNB? Well, here we go. Deploying to BNB chain could help Uniswap tap into the growing popularity of the DeFi in the Binance ecosystem. And what's the appeal with Binance? BNB chain offers unique features such as staking and cross-chain support that could enhance Uniswap's V3 functionality. But really, the big appeal is the bottom line. We all know about Ethereum's insane gas fees, which I know that they're making strides to get under control, and that Polygon is certainly helping a great deal with. But Binance, as of right now, has low fees and fast transactions. Ethereum has high fees, and hopefully with ETH 2.0 having already been launched, fast transactions, but people really care about the fees. I, for one, did very little of my transacting with Ethereum is solely because of their fees. But I did a great deal of transactioning with Binance, on Trust Wallet at least, because of their fees, because their fees weren't ridiculous. Now, looking at Uniswap here, I mean, that is not an insignificant piece of the Ethereum pie. Looking at platforms built on Ethereum, it is one of the biggest. And so what does migration to Binance look like? It's not just necessarily just Uniswap, the fact that it would be Uniswap migrating to Binance. It's just, what about things like that happening in the future? I wouldn't be shocked if the founders of SHIB, if they had a redo, that they would have launched on Binance. I know several meme coins. I mean, maybe not, because they are doing things to build on Ethereum's platforms, but I know several of the meme coins that were launched, the ones that launched on Ethereum, several of them migrated to Binance because they wanted the low fees, exposure to low fees. And so, I mean, what does it look like if other platforms, if other cryptocurrencies do their migrating to Binance or to Solana? I mean, I don't know about Solana or Polkadot or Avalanche, things like that. We could see Ethereum's market share tend to decrease. Now, we're seeing a lot of positives happen with layer 2s on Ethereum. I don't think that Ethereum is going to be flipped, but this is something that's just on my radar. That is not an insignificant amount of the vote that was cast in favor of moving to Binance. And so you got to be mindful of that as you're moving forward. Yeah, Ethereum, I believe, will put in a higher high next cycle. I believe that it has calcified in many ways. Ethereum is not going to die. But what happens down the road with innovation and with developers, with new technologies, and with Ethereum having issues with scalability? I don't know. Just something to keep in mind. But something else to keep in mind, Polygon is doing just fine. Metaverse crypto project skyrockets over 100% in a week as it migrates to the Polygon MATIC network. A virtual world crypto project is significantly outperforming the digital asset markets just as it migrates to Ethereum, layer 2 Polygon MATIC. Orb City is a decentralized virtual world where users can explore and control their own cities using multiple tokens and NFTs. Districts in major cities like Zurich, Cape Town, or Bangkok can be purchased on the NFT marketplace OpenSea. At the time of writing, one Orb City neighborhood in San Francisco was last sold for 15 ETH, about $24,000. Now, I checked out Orb City. Orb City's price has done well. It was originally built on Clayton, which I made a video about, and it's metaverse based, but it's a layer 1. And I was like, sure, why not? Why not buy that in the bear market? But I wasn't too blown away. It's based in South Korea. This is on my radar as a notch lower for Clayton, that it was built on Clayton, but migrated to Polygon. And of course, it has done very well since migrating to Polygon, at least the Orb cryptocurrency has. I went to Orb City's website, was not particularly blown away. It does remind me of a game, of an app that I have on my phone that I wish would integrate NFT type stuff. It's a game called Landlord. People spend a lot of money on that game, and it's not NFTs at all, but people spend a lot of money anyway. It could easily become an NFT thing. This is very much like Landlord, which, man, people who play this game, they are crazy about it. And it's like just a real world Monopoly game where you buy properties based off of what's around you, but you can explore the world as well with an agent, things like that. You can do something similar with Orb City. I've been waiting to see something similar to this Landlord game that I have on my phone on the blockchain. I don't know if Orb City is going to be that, but if so, there's a lot of potential there. But the big thing that I'm pointing out here is the move to Polygon, which gives me hope for Ethereum in the long term, and gives me less hope for Clayton, as much as I hate to say it. So something else to keep in mind: Orb City, don't really care. Migration to Polygon, MATIC, I very much care. MATIC's price is a little too high for me right now. I would love to see it come down, but I will be loading up significantly on Polygon. I don't see a reason why it wouldn't do twice as much as its previous cycle top, which I believe was around $3 last cycle. But we will see. Moving on. No, I don't want to read your articles. Actually, I have 3 articles from this website. I was just intrigued. But Pokemon, my kids are obsessed with Pokemon right now. Anyway, Polkadot development surges, but revenue decline concerns investors as click for more, clickbait. Polkadot's development activity soared over the past few months. Token Terminal reported on January 16th. This spike in activity could be attributed to the growing number of projects and developments within the Polkadot ecosystem. In a vacuum, I've talked about Polkadot. It is not a buy for me when it comes to buying low and selling high in my bear market buying guide. I prefer Cosmos, but the Polkadot people really got on top of me on that, saying, no, you're wrong. Polkadot's the way to go. It's the future. Polkadot, in my opinion, is good for general accumulation. I don't think it's good for buying low and selling high at the next euphoria phase. But in this in particular confirms the general accumulation thesis. Development activity is growing. That is a positive sign because I've been concerned lately. Is Polkadot being used? Is there adoption on Polkadot? And I see something like this, and it gives me hope that there will continue to be adoption. I read an article last week, and I was shocked by this article. What we're seeing, we're seeing the most developers go to right now is Solana, believe it or not, and Near. I did not see Polkadot I did not see them at all on this list of 10 where the most developers were going to. And now I'm seeing, actually, in comparison to the past at least, Polkadot's development has soared. Now that's the good news. The negative, I don't know how concerned I am about this now, but despite this growth in development activity, the revenue collected by Polkadot decreased from 21.76 million to 10.74 million between 9 and 15 January, according to Twitter account Polkadot Insider. So we're in the bear market. And so that's why I'm not as concerned about this, because that's just 1 week of activity. That's 1 week of revenues. Now, I mean, the thing that I wouldn't even say that this is a concern either, is that I'm trying to think of like earnings per share or earnings in comparison to the market cap, because you could easily compare this to stock, and what I would very much expect to find is a very high price to earnings ratio in terms of the total market cap versus the actual amount that they're earning. But that doesn't surprise me at all, because the entire cryptocurrency space is growing in general. So it's on my radar, but I wouldn't be surprised if next week we would see back up to 21 million, or just, that this wouldn't be a thing. Something to keep on your radar, but whatever, not a huge deal. Now on this website, moving on, I was just intrigued. I see some articles here. I clicked on both of them, and I just show me the numbers. What numbers do you have here? And so the first article here, oh my goodness, leave me alone. I'm just going to go to the Ripple one. Oh, nope, never mind. Shiba Inu coin price prediction. For 2025 to 2030, what SHIB holders should expect. Okay, so you guys know I've talked about from a dollars and cents perspective, not because I am a SHIB. I'm not a huge believer in Shiba Inu as a cryptocurrency, but just knowing what retail is going to get excited about, I believe that there is another run for SHIB, and maybe even in 2030, like this article is talking about. But I don't want, the article is interesting. You go to ambcrypto.com, read the article. Sure, why not? But looking at the prices here, let's read this paragraph, or I'll read it to you if you don't want to. Telegon concurred, finding that according to some crypto experts, Shiba Inu's coin can hit a new all-time high in 2025. I believe that's going to happen. On the contrary, even though they expect enough tokens being burnt this year, they're not so hopeful about its price rise in 2022. This was written a little bit ago. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't hopeful in 2022. I'm not super hopeful in 2023 either. They predict the maximum and minimum prices of SHIB to be 0.0001928 and 0.0000989 respectively. Its average price was predicted to be around 0.0001152. So that's pretty conservative. I mean, considering that that's about a 10x from today's price, at least, the average price. So what do you make of that? I believe that SHIB has more downward movement to go before the next cycle. I believe that it's now time for Bitcoin's dominance to increase, And I would be, man, SHIB has only really gone down about 90% from its peak to its bottom. I would have expected something more like 95 to 99%. And I'm still holding out hope because I do want to accumulate. I just don't want to accumulate at only a 90% drop. But this next part, this one really, man, this was surprising to me. The aforementioned Changeley blog post also mentioned that in 2030, SHIB will be traded at an average price of 0.00030921. Its maximum and minimum prices will be 0.000356649, 3/100ths of a cent, and 0.0002987 respectively. The potential ROI for SHIB in 2030 is predicted to be 22,878%. My goodness. And man, 3/100ths of a cent. So 3/100ths of a cent. 1 cent would be a $6 trillion market cap for Shiba Inu alone, which is why I believe we're not going to see Shiba Inu at a penny. You know, despite what people are saying, these people are buying SHIB like, oh man, if it gets to a penny, I'm going to be a multimillionaire. So you think SHIB is going to go up to a $1 trillion market cap? You really think that? The burn is not aggressive enough. But you know what? I will let them wait for a penny, and I will sell much lower and they can be back holders. But my goodness, I mean, let's just say this is right. Buy and hold, accumulate, that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. I remember I bought Dogecoin 2 weeks after it was launched in 2013. And I remember giving my brother $50, something like that, of Dogecoin for his birthday. And I really, really wanted him to hold it for like 8 years. And if he did, at its peak, that Doge would have been worth like $25,000 to $50,000. But he sold it all almost immediately, and it is what it is. But something similar could happen to Doge. Now, 3/100ths of a cent. 1 cent is 6 trillion, so 1/33rd of a cent is, you do the math, 200 million or something like that. Could I see SHIB's market cap being 200 million in 2030? Honestly, man, I hate to say it, I could. That would assume a much larger crypto market cap in 2030, and this is all speculation. You know how it goes, but they are burning. It's not aggressive enough, but what if their burn makes it so that the market cap is really only 100 million? Could I see SHIB be 100 million? Well, I mean, Dogecoin almost hit 100 million in 2021, and SHIB and Doge are neck and neck in market cap. Yeah, I could certainly see SHIB be worth 100 million in market cap. Yes, I could. Ripple, I was interested in this. The price predictions for 2025 and 2030 for XRP are much more subdued. And I tend to agree. I do. Now, we'll see when this Ripple lawsuit ends, but the average projection for 2025 is around $3.66. That is a higher high than 2021. That's about a 10x from today's prices. That sounds about right. I'm not one of those people who believes in $589 XRP. I think their supply dynamics are insane. I think that the holders, the whales, those who hold large bags of XRP will dump at specific times when it's convenient for that. And then 2030, $18.39. That is high. But I mean, think about that. It's around 40 cents today, $18.39. If that's true, we'll see. That is average for 2030. That would be a 6x from its, the projected 2025 peak. To me, that seems a little high, but it's interesting food for thought to see what quote unquote experts are thinking when it comes to the price of Ripple XRP. I think a great deal of this depends on the Ripple suit. A great deal of all things altcoins depends on the Ripple suit. I think Bitcoin is pretty much immune to this, as Gary Gensler has declared that it is not a security. And then a lot of ISO 20022 compliant cryptos. Cardano is pretty safe, and their stable coin that they're launching is pretty safe. So we should be good. Last article, comedy, I suppose, for today. CNBC's Jim Cramer warned Solana and Litecoin holders. Says he wouldn't touch crypto in a million years. So, all right, here's the funny thing about this article. Jim Cramer. Jim Cramer has been a phenomenal buy and sell signal. And so at the beginning of 2023, Jim Cramer tweeted something about, now is the time, now is the perfect time to dump all of your crypto. Bitcoin was at like $16,400. And then I saw all over Twitter, everyone responding to that saying, and they were dead serious, by the way, now's the time to buy. Jim Cramer said sell. Now's the time to buy. And man, they were absolutely right. And so I think it's funny because I am more bullish. I am much more bullish on Solana. I'm seeing a lot of FUD with Solana. And do I call it FUD or is it legitimate fears? I don't know, but I am much more bullish on Solana than the average person who I hear talk about Solana. And you already know I am much more bullish on Litecoin. And so I see this article from Jim Cramer and I'm just laughing. It's like, all right, you know what? I'm loading up on Solana and Litecoin, but let's see. There's some funny things that Jim Cramer says. He's a hypocrite, but I don't care. I would not touch crypto in a million years because I wouldn't trust the deposit bank. They fought regulation. They didn't want regulation, and you don't have regulation. So if you ever have your money in any of those, look, I'm not calling you an idiot. I'm just saying you're using a lot of blind faith, and I like to have my money in JP Morgan. And I check on Monday to see whether my balance is there. It's there. It feels good. What did he say? There was something that he said that he's talking about how he sold all his crypto. So I guess he was an idiot at some point, but now he's smart. Yeah, that sounds right. And you know what? Close to the peak, he'll be talking about how awesome crypto is. I am certain of that. Very little doubt in my mind. But anyway, Jim Cramer, and I think that everybody who owns these various coins, Solana, Litecoin, I do think you're an idiot. Okay, I'm an idiot. Okay, I did not go to college to get stupid. These people who own these things should not own them. They shouldn't own them. If that is not a signal to you to buy Solana and Litecoin, I don't know what to say. This is the signal. This is the signal to buy those specific cryptocurrencies. I am not kidding. Solana and Litecoin. Load up. Even if Solana does a retracement to 30% of its all-time high, you will do very, very well. And Litecoin is outperforming every other crypto in the top 20 except for, I think, Polygon, between this past summer, the June bottom, and today. You already know my opinions on Litecoin. People have fled from sexy. They've learned the lessons. They're going back to boring old Litecoin. And I'm not surprised. Anyway, this is not financial advice. Jim Cramer is giving you financial advice, saying not to buy Solana and Litecoin, and you do the opposite of what he says. But anyway, that is all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful rest of your week. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Tuesday. Yeah, everyone loves Tuesday. I will see you in another video. Peace.